to think about those
Oh,
characteristics
right.
we were just looking at. So the donkey has bulging eyes. So I just used some paper. It's got the big ears that's sticking up, bit curly at the bottom. And I was trying to work out what could I do to make that big nosy thing so I could change the shape of the bottle and begin to make it feel like our donkey shape. So the bottle has its snout underneath there, and just play with the paper, any paper, just to help me to get the shape, because I can then use other things to make my eye bulgy. Somebody mentioned last week we could use egg pots. And I was looking at these as well, little cake things. Look at that. We could cut that out and we could use that to make an eye. And we could even use it like that. So the key thing is to look around and gather things that might work to transform your shape. And when we're finished, of course, we could paint, we could roll it with paper and cover it. One of the key things that we spoke about last week is the angle at which you put your bottle or box onto your rod, your broomstick. So you do get that sense of the head leaning down. Every time we're making whatever we're making, we're thinking about how we're going to film it. If we're going to film it, are we going to film it getting close? Film it going back, film it riding, film it from the side going that way, film it from the side going this way, and how all of that can work. So you're thinking about your shape from all angles so that you can, from the side, it's like it's bowing now. It's riding towards you, coming back. So we're thinking about the personality and the way we handle it to make it work. And so that's using plastic bottle, but also I explored the idea of using cartons, cardboard cartons, because, oh, it is. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. So these are just cardboard, juice cartons. I've used some coconut water ones, but what's nice about these, unlike the plastic, I can squish it, look, and make that shape to make the nose of the donkey more prominent. Can you see that? I put the paper on top. Again, I'm trying just using a piece of paper because that's easy, because then I can make this with anything, but it does give it a really different vibe, if you like. So you can see that the head is beginning to take on that shape, bending in like this. That's going to give us an interesting shape. The other thing we spoke about, wasn't it? That was what this was going to be. What is it that we can use to actually make? So the things we want to think about are the basic shape. So this, whatever this under shape is, whether that's the bottle or whether it's the carton that we can squish. And then how do we make that bulgy nose? Because here I could add a jaw with teeth to make a funny one. I might be able to cut into the carton there to open it. So we will explore some of those things. And the ears, I put the ear around the carton to try to give that sense of the curve that we were just looking at. So it's here and it's on either side of, see, to make the ear look a little bit more 3D. The lucky thing about this broom is it was already on an angle. So I'm trying to think, how come my broom is already on the angle? It was. So I was able to just leave the broom in the middle and tape them to the broom. So if you look around, like we said, you could find a little broom, a little mop, whatever, and you can tape it because it's literally just held on with some sellotape. Can you see that? That was just an envelope. It's just an envelope open. So I have two open sides, and then all I've been doing is squeezing it in, because there to the nose of your donkey. The little broom, and it's stick, and I've just cut a little hole there, and I'm just going to push this into there. So I've already begun very simply to start from a flat envelope, I've already got my head in, and I can now begin to think about what am I going to do to make this feel donkey. I can tie it there. By the time I put my 2 ears on there, I can start to work it. So whatever you find in your kitchen, it is possible to begin to maneuver it so that you can work it. But it isn't difficult with any stick to, look, it's just hanging on there. The tape on there, and it's going to stay. Then I need to make this into a better shape. If this was more square here, it would give us a different shape. So whatever cartons you have, you want to take them from the flat or from the square and begin to squeeze a couple, about 3 inches away from the edge, because that's going to start to make the donkey nosy bit. So if you do have juice cartons or milk cartons in that are cardboard, then I think that would be a really good start. These are the things that, this is more or less what we did last week, but also with some additional things. And so today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to start thinking about not just the head, but also what we would do about the body. What's happening here? And so I started looking at, I love my plastic bread bags. I've every year been saving them for today. So I've got my bread bag. Yeah, bread bag. I've cut it open. So it's a big flat piece of polythene plastic. And I've kind of combined 2 of them, taping the top, just taping the top together. So I can kind of think about putting it there. Can you see with the neck? Right, here you go. So I'm starting to form what could become the neck, to be having the shape. The secret is to make it into like a frill. So from the flat, you gather it. You need to gather it. When you gather it, the thing about polythene, now look at, see that? Bring it at the top. It gets, now it's a bit stiffer. It's double the thickness. So if I put sellotape across the top, look, it wants to curve. Just stick the sellotape, and this can be done with paper bags as well. Just stick it across the top, sellotape. You stick it on both sides if you like. All right. So look, so that curvy shape now allows me to create an interesting back of head onto the shape of your bottle. I said I'd put the mane on there. So it's starting to curve to give us the sense of the shape of a donkey's neck.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's easy. There you go. Okay. Give us that shape for the back of the neck there. So, and you can do as many of those down as long as you need to, as you want to. Some more here, and we'll be able to use our rod and have something that we could be colorful with, paint onto, stick other things onto. Trying to find ways to add a piece of paper around the bottom of the 2 boxes that are so square, because I'm trying to change the shape. These 2 pieces can now be made from a cardboard box, but just using them as a template helps me just to find the right shape so that I can then open it out. Do you see what that shape is? So this shape that I'm using to make the nose is, I'll be able to open it up now. Let's open it out. So we're seeing a shape transform from this. And then at the end here, I'm just going to cut it out. Basically, that's that shape. Curve this back to itself. It starts to become like this. Now I've got that shape. Put it on the nose like this, upside down, and so it gives us that shape.